Hey, how you doing? I'm Hoopy, your host of Dem Brothers from Inglewood podcast, coming to you once again, live and direct. It is a pleasure to be back in the studio once again. I have a very interesting topic on today that I'd like to share, but before I do, I just want to say thanks to the Coalesce Group and to Fruit Off the Vine Clothing Apparel for allowing us to partner with you in the ventures and covering massive ground in the areas of education and self-esteem for young women. So I just thank you for allowing us to be a partner with your brand and the things that you're doing. I commend you and I say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Also, what's so interesting today about this topic is that maybe we haven't experienced it personally, and I'm sure you know of some people who are experiencing it or have gone through it. And I just believe that this is a very, very sensitive matter, but it's inclusion. I believe everyone can relate in some shape, form, or fashion. And I just kind of want to raise a few questions as well as just kind of speak to some things that I know that are taking place in the world and in lives today. So thank you once again. I'm going to ask if you would be so kind to like, subscribe, and share this content platform. And those that are willing, if you'll just press the notification button so that you will be alerted and you will be abreast as to every time we come on air, you will know that there is a new episode or something that we're featuring. So if you do that, I'll be grateful, and I do thank you for your time and your space. I'm not going to intrude on your time too much longer, but I just want to introduce this particular topic and just kind of, hash through it and see what we can point out, and maybe we can come up with some solutions and results for a lot of these situations. The topic today is I would say public awareness. Public awareness. And what do you mean by public awareness? I mean that a lot of things that take place in our local cities, in our states, in our nation, even in our personal lives, a lot of people don't really want to talk about it. They really kind of suppress it. They, just kind of keep it private. But I believe that a lot of issues can be resolved, or at least placed on the table if we communicate what it is that we're going through and what we're experiencing. Because if the truth be told, a lot of things that we go through, it's not just our direct issue, but it affects people around us, people that are in our circle, people that are in our families, people that we associate with, even people that are in our community. It has a way of filtering into the lives of others. So this one sensitive subject that I'm mentioning is actually parental alienation. It has happened for centuries. It goes on all the time. A lot of people are not aware of it, especially men who are experiencing challenges with their children, with their ex-spouses or spouses or significant others, partners, girlfriends, boyfriends. It's just a prevalent reality that I believe needs to be resolved. I also believe that it needs to be tabled. It needs to be addressed in a proper way. And so without further ado, I want to raise a couple of questions about this subject. Number one, do you know anything about parental alienation? Are you aware? Are you familiar? Do you even care that many of these situations go on for years and years unresolved, and relationships are just torn apart, destroyed? Relationships never get started. They become unhealthy. they become toxic, they become just a huge obstacle. And parental alienation is basically when there is a child that is estranged from their parents or a parent, or from their guardian or whoever may have jurisdiction over their nurturing process, over their livelihood, their development, over their child development. Let's just say it like that. Sometimes these matters filter into legal battles, custody battles. It really starts to happen based on couples, splitting up, going their separate ways, experiencing difficulties with communication or even physical harm. Some situations are about domestic battles, and safety is involved and things of that nature, and you kind of have to get out of harm's way. I understand that, I get that, but let's just kind of deal with how this works and how we can raise awareness about parental alienation. First of all, there are a group of psychologists over the years who have come up with the theory that this is a extension of mental health. It has a lot to do with psychological challenges that people suffer from, male and female. It doesn't discriminate as to gender, but it does have a stronghold on relationships, on couples who experience divorce or separation, death, experiences that, maybe guardians or aunts, uncles, distant cousins are, legally, or sometimes it's not really legally, but these children fall into the lap and into the care of people that they don't know, they don't have relationships with. Some of these people have zero parenting skills, communication skills, and all the above. And so what happens is a child is thrust into a very sensitive, delicate situation, and they're very vulnerable as youth, and we all know it. Those that are viewing and listening to this content, and understand that when you were a certain age, you were just helpless. You could not defend yourself. You didn't understand a lot of the communication that was probably taking place in your life. You didn't know any direction. You didn't have instruction. So what happens is a child is really placed in a position to where they have to fend for themselves. And I don't believe any child should ever be in a position where they have to make adult decisions and they have to be subject to adult situations. And so I just kind of want to see what your take is. Chime in, write us, email us, put something in the comment section. I am going to do a live. I'm going to go live really soon on this subject, because I just believe that it's imperative. I believe that there are some good mothers who want to parent their child. I believe there's some good fathers who want to parent and co-parent their children. They want to provide for them. They want to be a resource for their children. They want to be a support system. They want to be there in their child's life. And it's not fair that the other parent is using whatever their, disagreement or, whatever they're holding against that person, or whatever unresolved issue it might be. It's not benefiting the child. It's not even benefiting both adults, because what happens is you have this hidden stress. You got people going through different levels of stress, trying to cope with being estranged and being, denied an opportunity to have a relationship with their child, their biological child. I'm not saying because some situations are delicate, they're different. Child abuse, harm has come to a child. Children have been placed in vulnerable positions and they suffered behind it. I get that. I mean, if a parent is irresponsible and a parent is a danger to a child, that's much, much different than just being estranged for a personal decision that one parent makes. And so it's very, very challenging even in our community. I'm African American, therefore I can speak to my experiences and my, not just my personal experiences, but what I've seen in my community, what I've seen in my culture, what I've seen among my people. We're not the only ones that have this problem or experience these issues. There are other ethnicities. There's Caucasians, Asians, there are Germans, there are, Indians, people of various descents. They experience the same thing. But I can speak to what is prevalent and what is obvious in my community, what's happening in my life, or what I see on a regular basis. And so I just really, really wanted to come on and just raise this awareness as to pointing this thing out, placing it on the table. How do we bring resolve to this? Is there a solution to co-parenting? How do we do this successfully? How do we do this without, putting the child in the middle? How do we process what the child must be going through and experiencing without both of their parents? It's just really, it's sad. It's real. It happens. It should not happen. And we need to find a way to talk about it. We need to communicate about it. And so I know that we can get through this process. We just have to acknowledge that it exists. I'm not going to go into a lot of the theory, at least not on this episode. I will have a part 2 and a part 3. I'm going to bring some parents in, male and female. I want to get their perspective. I just want to introduce the initial subject of parental alienation and what that looks like, and how can we bring resolve to this terrible, terrible situation. It's being practiced every day on a regular basis. It's not cool, it's not healthy, and it needs to stop. We need to, approach this, engage ourselves with solutions, and try to find a resolve, whether it's clinical psychology and assistance from that aspect, or whether it's from the legal system, going to court, presenting this, because parental alienation is really, it's really breaking the law. It's really not a, it hasn't been coined, or not coined, it hasn't been really documented in a court system or under the judicial system. I don't believe that there is an actual policy that's in place to convict or to pursue some form of action pertaining to parental alienation. But I do know it is a form of manipulation. It is a form of control. It is not a legal practice. and people go to court about it all the time. I'd have to research a little more as it relates to what our judicial system consider parental alienation from a legal standpoint. So I just wanted to holler at you really quick and just bring this to your attention, because we're going to do a part 2 and a part 3, and I'd like to bring in some more than capable men and women to speak to this matter. And I'm very close to it, so I don't want to just get super personal, and I don't want to make it about me, myself, and I. I just want to present it, and so that we can all benefit from the information that will be provided in the coming episodes. So thank you so much for tuning in. Again, I got to remind you, like, subscribe, and share. Press the notification button so that you will be abreast as to whenever we're live, whenever we're coming on, and whenever we've recorded and pushed something through the upload. So again, thank you so much for your time and your patience. We look forward to presenting again, especially on this topic. We're out. The car has come to a stop, and we are so elated to be back in the studio and see you again. Take care. Peace.